Wait. Oh, sorry, everyone. Yeah, I lol, I had myself muted. Sorry. All right, so you probably have, like, heard this, or like at least saw this go viral on Twitter. A lot of you, but yeah, the Serfs, Lance from the Serfs, as a lot of people are calling him now. Basically, he's gone like viral, like for his abortion position. Actually, wait, can we? Yeah, even like it gone so viral that even like Tim Pool, like knew the contradiction and like just basically like clipped it, like. But yeah, it's a very weird, hypocritical like clip. Basically, in the clip, like, the Serfs said like women should have bodily autonomy of the child when they're like pregnant, like they should choose whether to end that child's life or not. But the thing is, then he's asked whether or not Tim asked whether or not meth, yeah, basically like whether or not the pregnant woman should be allowed to like take meth while pregnant, and like Lance says no. And then this, which is weird because it contradicts his position, but even more, he says that they should call child services because it's explicitly killing a child, so that's very confusing there. But the thing is, people only saw like what, a 2 minute clip from that rather than the whole context. So I'm going to provide the whole context because I found it weird myself, and when I see the whole context, I know the whole thing makes it more confusing. And because Lance says something else contradictory, which seems to like, it's weird. Like, we'll start off from here. Okay, so all right, we're gonna like start from here. So since this is 1 minute before like the viral clip, and yeah, this is part of the cut from the abortion video, the abortion segment of Tim Pool's. I haven't watched a whole live stream, but I'm hoping this would be sufficient context for the clip, since I've watched at least this whole abortion video.
That's something to take into account.
So wait. Remember the Born Alive Act?
Yes.
That was a Republican position.
Yeah, so here Tim's basically like mentioning this act called the Born Alive Act, which is basically all about the partial birth abortion, basically preventing that, like, basically that if an abortion fails, then you can't like kill it, since I assume like the baby's out of the womb, like no morally functioning person would like allow that. So makes sense. Mentions that that's not much really that relevant to like what we're discussing here,
wasn't it? What was that?
Yeah, so there have been a couple of different Born Alive acts in different years, but what they basically say is that if the abortion fails, it is not legal to kill the child.
Wasn't that Republicans were trying to pass a law?
Republicans were trying to pass that. That was one of the only things Obama voted on in the Senate. He voted against it.
Obama voted against it. But you would be in favor of that.
In favor of what?
The Born Alive Act.
I'm not completely familiar with it, so I don't have to read
if an infant is born alive after an attempted abortion, it has the same protection of law and degree as a newborn.
Yeah, I would be okay with that, because at that point it's a human. If you're killing a person that is alive outside of a womb, then that's murder, right?
Yeah, and this proves that every like functioning, like morally functioning person, including Lance, agrees with this. So I guess that proves my point. Yeah, I'm just gonna check that I'm actually like live on my channel, double check, because I don't know, like, because I'm already just a few minutes in, whenever this happens, with Fudge, okay, good, we're live. All right, good.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I ask you, this is not a gotcha.
We agree on that. That's great.
I want to ask in good faith. So
yeah, of course.
You believe that the
sorry,
moment after the child is outside of the birth canal, that they are now endowed with human rights.
Yes.
However, when they are inside of the mother, literally anything you do to them is acceptable because they're inside of the mother.
Oh, no, I don't think anything is acceptable, but I think the mother should still have the choice, ultimate authority over what happens to her body.
All right, so this is where, like, I guess Seth makes the moral and legal distinction. Like, and everything that's legal is not necessarily moral. That's kind of my position, like expanded to like, well, that's kind of like that idea is expanded to like almost all of my positions. For example, like drugs, I don't like it, but I want most, if not all of them, legal. Although like although there's this part where like Matt Walsh like made a point about like fentanyl, how like touching it would make you addicted like easily, like even if it was by accident. So maybe that should be regulated or even banned. Maybe that's a whole like Carl Klinsky, like Matt Walsh like versus thing. I plan on doing a live stream on that maybe some point, like maybe after my exams. But in this case, like so the Lance may like want certain like scenarios with abortion like legal, but he doesn't necessarily morally approve of it. But like, I guess at that point you need to ask, why do you not morally approve it? Because when I morally disapprove of like drugs, it's more to do with addiction. But like when someone usually morally disapproves of a certain like, action or scenario in abortion, usually it's not like, the problem with abortion isn't usually that it's harming someone, themselves, like you do with drugs. Usually abortion would be harming the fetus, at least in most people's view, including like pro-choice people. And the pro-life position is that like we have to prevent murder. But that's just a little tidbit here and there. Like
there's a child inside of her
hold
body.
on. What about
Yes.
meth?
Like, should she be allowed to do meth?
Yeah.
I think if someone is doing meth while they're pregnant, that it is completely acceptable for something like I don't know what the name of the service is in the United States.
Child services.
I guess
Child
DCFS would be.
Oh, it's her body though.
Okay, this is important, like what he says, because I'm only going to go through like 5-6 minutes of this like whole like video, and the thing is, this part is important when he says child services, because it's really relevant and makes what Lance says in the next 3-4 minutes very confusing. Because the viral clip that came out on Twitter, I don't know, I think it kind of misrepresents Lance's position, but the thing is, Lance seems to misrepresent his own position. It's very confusing. This is why I titled it like my live stream as confusing rather than like Lance debunked or something, because I don't know, like I think he really screws himself. Oh, it's really weird. So
be allowed to do meth?
Yeah.
I think if someone is doing meth while they're pregnant, that it is completely acceptable for something like I don't know what the name of the service is in the United States.
Child services.
I guess DCFS would be.
Oh, it's her body though.
Yeah, so from this, like, 20 seconds, you could clearly tell that when Lance mentions, like, child services, but does he actually say, I know the other guys say it, but I need...
For the services in the United States?
Child services?
I guess DCFS would be...
Okay, like, all right, so this could make it a bit more, like, confusing because, yeah, I think he said it, but, like, other people were also talking, so we couldn't hear him properly, so this makes it even more confusing. For all we know, like this was just like an accident, like Lance being like misrepresented, but he doesn't seem to like clarify on the meth stance later on. He clarifies on alcohol, which is confusing. But all right, so anyway, Lance, when he says that you need to call like child services if a pregnant woman takes meth, that's a clear implication that like he wants to protect the child from the pregnant woman's actions, and that like the pregnant woman shouldn't, the pregnant woman doesn't have full bodily autonomy in this scenario. Actually, he further clarifies later, which is about the meth, which is confusing in a few seconds.
Well, it's her body though.
Yeah, it's her body.
If she wants to do meth, what's the big deal?
The big deal is that she's intentionally trying to kill a child.
Yeah, and this is the part. This is the few seconds which, basically humiliates him, even though like he contradicts his position later on with alcohol. So basically, he's saying that the unborn, like whether you call it a baby, a fetus, like is a child, even though the child is still in the pregnant woman's like womb, which would generally like maybe contradict like balanced position. Actually, a lot of pro-choicers may think that it is a life or somewhat of a life in the woman's womb, but they still think the woman should have like the ultimate choice, since they believe that it's their body, and like criminalizing it will like have like worse consequences, and that abortions are like tough position. But this balance contradicts even that he basically says that not only does he think that the child or the fetus, the baby, whatever you want to call it, whether you're pro-life or pro-choice, whether it's the baby or the fetus in the pregnant, he considers that alive, but he also believes that you should be like criminalized from like making certain choices about the pregnant woman, like so because abortion, by Smart's own logic, since he at this point like he considers like the child a life in the pregnant and woman's womb, that means he would want to prevent it from being murdered, in this case by like using meth, but he doesn't want it to be prevented from being murdered via abortion, even though abortion is more direct murder, while meth is more like a slow murder. It definitely can like lower your chances of like of the child survival. I'm not sure if there's 100% chance, or like a vast majority of a very, very high chance of like being like of the child being killed. Abortion has a I mean, it's intended to do what it's meant to do, like excluding maybe times where the abortion fails. So like this makes it even worse, because at least when a pregnant, I'm assuming, I haven't checked this up, but like no, I feel like maybe like there's a chance that like a child could still survive from a pregnant woman still taking meth. I still like disapprove of a pregnant woman taking meth. I'm just like trying to show that like abortion would be technically in a way worse than taking meth, because abortion directly kills and has a much higher chance of like, but also I don't, but like don't take meth. I do disapprove of meth, and like if you're a pregnant woman taking like certain drugs, I would like the law enforcement to like not make you do that. I mean, to stop you from doing that.
Hold on there a minute.
Yeah, and I see where we're going.
Yeah, this is the part where like Tim realized what the heck is he like saying. I'm just gonna check if there's any comments. Wait, no comments. All right.
I don't understand what you're saying. It's her body.
It's her
if
body.
She wants to do meth. What's the problem?
Well, first off, doing meth is illegal, period. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so this part's weird. Like he says, doing meth is illegal, but like, that I mean, like we're trying to debate what is legal and illegal anyway. But like, it like because like if abortion is illegal, hypothetically legal, like the Republicans, conservatives make it illegal. I mean, like Lance would want to make it legal, and I'm pretty sure like Lance would also want to make certain drugs legal, like that might include meth, maybe not. I don't know his position exactly. Maybe I think he should be for like marijuana legalization at least, but like I don't know about other drugs. I'm definitely for marijuana legalization, but I guess maybe it depends on like the drug. But I suggest like maybe we should, for the like pro like drug legalization, you should do it step by step, like legalize one drug at a time, and that's a more conservative method of like doing things.
No matter if you're doing it with a child or without a child.
Not in Oregon.
Methyl and MDMA. It's a
Maybe
type
it's
of meth.
alcohol.
Wait,
then.
sorry, what?
Not crystal meth.
Drunk.
Crystal meth
There's
is legal in
different kinds
Oregon?
of-
No,
not
it's
crystal.
Hold on a second.
MDMA is a kind of
Oh yeah, this is a weird part which for some reason I'm going to research, even though this doesn't have much to link. This have much to like do with the abortion stuff, where I don't know, like we have to search the definition between legalization and decriminalization. I think this is one of the few times where the Serfs gets a kind of a win here, kind of. Which then again, he's debating Tim Pool, so that I don't know. I don't think that's saying much. But then again, Tim Pool's debating lot, so that's not saying much. So it's basically like two. I don't want to say the word like because I don't know if this will, hurt me like my channel if I say the word. Basically, the R word, like the the derogatory term for low IQ. It's two derogatory low IQ people fighting each other, and I'm just enjoying my sip of I don't know Coke or something.
Of meth, methyl and methamphetamine is ecstasy. That's a kind of meth. There's also crystal meth, which is not legal. MDMA is legal in some places for therapy sessions. I don't know if it's legal for very pregnant women.
Okay, it is.
Is it for
this is where like Serfs gets his own, because there's a difference between decriminalize and legalization. Right, so Balance explains it, but let's see. So, okay, let's see. All right, when drug use and possession are decriminalized, criminal charges are not applied. Okay, so basically, I don't exactly understand this completely myself. It's a tiny bit confusing, but like basically, what the drug use and possession is still a crime, but like they won't like put you in jail for that. Like, it's kind of like what like maybe if you like okay, so if a person is found guilty and convicted, all right, so yeah, it's based, all right, so decriminalization may replace criminal penalties with civil penalties. These could include referral to an education or treatment program or a fine. Okay, so basically the punishments change. It's still illegal, but like it's not as severe. Like it's doable, and civil cases do not have to go through the court system and may be dealt with by tribunals. So it's basically a nicer legal system. And for like legalization, where where you don't even like have to go through these educational treatment programs, and like I don't like when people do drugs. I don't know, I wouldn't mind a movement like or maybe being part of a movement where I say no to drugs, but like it's like alcohol. I hate alcohol as well, but like as long as you aren't hurting anyone else legally, no one should be able to like force you what to do. But alcohol and like drug usage, I really like hate alcohol if it's so excessive that you get drunk. I really hate that much. Same with like drugs, if you use it, but like it's what it is. So what is decriminalization is not legalization. If drug possession and personal use are decriminalized, it is still illegal to possess and use drugs. Selling and manufacturing drugs still carry criminal penalties. Okay, so this is more like I guess this article is more like trying to like talk about like the current state of legality of like drug usage and drug selling, I guess. But where I want to like at least legalize certain types of drug selling. All right, so drug legalization removes all penalties for possession and personal use of a drug. Regulations are typically established to manage where and how legal drug can be produced, sold, and consumed. Criminal or civil penalties may apply if production, sale, or consumption occur outside of regulations. Okay, it's regulated. An example of a legalized drug is alcohol. Alcohol is a legal drug in Australia. Yeah, this is an annoying hypocrisy that I hate about like legalizing drugs, yet pro legalizing alcohol. I think hate that so much. But alcohol production, distribution, yada yada. Yeah. Okay, we don't need that. Although the funny thing is, like they mention alcohol here.
Oregon decriminalized possession in 2021.
So let me just.
You're right.
But I don't know if
But
that's...
okay, dude. So like,
decriminalizing possession is different than legalizing crystal meth. You know those two things are completely different, right?
It's a question of whether you can press charges.
I'm going to see if Seamus says something smart here, because Seamus is all right.
Crystal meth. You know those two things are completely different, right?
It's a question of whether you can press charges.
Hold on.
Okay, all right. So Seamus knows what this is. He said it's a question of whether or not he could press charges. Like, Seamus is pretty smart there, but like the rest of the guys, I don't know. Like, it's just like I don't know, Tim Pool. I don't know. He makes I don't know, not so great like arguments, I guess. I've heard like complaints from like a lot of people I know that he complains a lot about like a future American Civil War, and that he increases tensions by like complaining about that, even though like I don't know, like America's not like in the best like scenario right now, but like it's it's still a good place. There's still hope, I'd say.
What?
So when you decriminalize a small amount of drugs, that means if you're caught with that drugs by a cop, that means if you're arrested, you cannot be charged for 1 gram, 2 grams, whatever
that's what
that is.
legalizing is.
No,
No, Tim. That no. I mean, no, because decriminalization also means that like you get civil penalties where you have to like I don't know. I've said this a few minutes earlier in the stream, but like where you have to like maybe go to some educational or training facility, like more mandated by tribunal. Oh, well, actually, it might be courts in the case of like America, because like the article I read, I think that's basically an article based on Australia. So, well, the like civil courts are basically called tribunals. I'm assuming like from. But that I don't know. That doesn't matter much, I guess.
no, this is decriminalization, not legalization. We never said
There's no such thing
legalization.
legalization is a semantic term. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it's not a semantic term. It's a legal effing hell term.
Thing.
Yes, it means
In casual conversation, it's a semantic term, but like in terms of legalization, where laws matter, like where the like differences in language in legality matters, like this isn't semantics. Like in casual conversation, like yeah, it's semantics, but like not in the case of law.
Either a
it
substance is no
means
longer
that there's no
criminal.
longer a prohibition on that product.
Okay, so if a woman does meth, she's legally allowed to have it, right?
Is she legally allowed to do it or possess it?
Yeah, I'm confused why, like, Lance is asking why meth is legal, because it seemed, for some reason, like, if a substance is legal, it seems to be Lance's position is that, that if a pregnant woman, like, takes that illegal assist substance, she's basically trying to, like, kill that child or is killing that child, and child services should be, like, called in, even though, like, before he says the woman should be able to like have full autonomy, and then later he says that a woman should be allowed to drink alcohol, when pregnant, maybe a minute or two later. He's all over the place.
I mean, what's the difference?
Well, two very different things. You can be legally allowed to possess drugs and not be legally allowed to take drugs, for example.
Alcohol.
So she does alcohol.
Can a woman chug a fifth of vodka while pregnant?
Yeah, she can legally.
But do you think she has a right to do so?
I think she has a right to do. Yes, she has a right to do it. I don't agree with it.
Yeah, this. Okay, so like, here's the thing. If like Lance, that file clip of it. If Lance later said, actually, what I made a mistake. I understand my error. I basically like, but yeah, I would like if meth was I also said that because meth was legal, and I had like a brain like problem when I said that, and I was meant to like say that like if meth is legal, then I think that the pregnant woman should be allowed to like consume it while pregnant. Like, what's functionally like different between a pregnant woman consuming meth and consuming alcohol? Does like the child in the womb suddenly be alive and have legal protections, while if she drinks alcohol she doesn't have legal protections? Yeah, I might need to like finish the stream like quickly, but let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And heroin?
It's illegal.
I don't think heroin's illegal. I think heroin actually was legalized. I think it's controlled, but I think that one specifically was oxycodone and other drugs. So
She has a right to do it. Whether or not I agree with her doing it, that's completely different.
Okay, if meth is legal, wouldn't that same logic apply to meth? Like, here's the thing: why did he if he believes this, then why did he mention child services? This is a confusing, like, logic, like, hopefully, like, Lance, like, clarifies what he means, because this is confusing.
I don't agree with a woman who would have an elective abortion at 9 months. I think that is like, why the fuck
But
would
it's
you have done
allowed.
that?
Yeah, now this part is more consistent because I don't know he doesn't agree with it, but he wants it, like, legalized, but like what what the f? Sorry, what trying to think. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Like, Lance is now confusing me.
That, but I think she has the right to do it, right?
But do you think it's ethical that she like?
I
it's
don't think it's
legal
ethical. No, of course not.
because some things are made legal that are unethical, in my opinion.
True.
And should those be made illegal?
I mean, that's a very broad question, right?
No,
You're talking about a lot
I'm
of
sorry.
different things.
Personal use of methamphetamine is allowed. It's a civil citation, like a traffic ticket, not a criminal citation.
Oh, okay. I think that so yeah, the meth is basically like decriminalized. Yeah, Tim debunks his own point. Sorry, that was my alarm.
So allowed maybe is hyperbolic. It is.
I don't know. Okay, yes. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't tell my mom I was streaming.
Is a civil citation to be caught using methamphetamine in Oregon. You get a ticket for it, but no crime.
So I just looked up the Born Alive Act, by the way. It says this bill is deliberately misleading and offensive to pregnant people and doctors and nurses who provide their care. It is another attempt by anti-abortion politicians to spread misinformation as a means to get a warped political end, to ban safe and legal abortion. It's an entry point to try and make abortion
Yeah, that so sounds biased.
illegal.
Where did you read this?
Okay,
and
well,
what
no,
source is this
hold on,
from?
no. I don't care. I mean, who cares about the Born Alive Act? The question was, if an abortion happens but the baby survives, can you kill it? And Lance already said no. So we're done with that.
So he would, yeah, for sure.
So any other political arguments, anyone left, right, or otherwise trying to change that? No, it's irrelevant. Once the baby's born, it's a baby. So
yeah.
So
it has the same rights as every other human at that point, right?
This is
an American.
This is an interesting. I think this falls in line with the idea of anarcho-tyranny that we were talking about. My view of the modern left is that their positions are nothing but chaos. There's no logical pathway.
Oh yeah, this I think links to like the start where he talks about anarcho-tyranny, but like I guess we're done for now. So, all right. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. Thanks everyone for like watching. Yeah, my Kalkulski video will be in a few weeks' time. But yeah, I guess bye for now, and yeah, see you later. Bye. Oh, I forgot to end the broadcast. Sorry. Okay, like yeah. So basically, I guess I'll conclude. Basically, the abortion position is confusing as f. Like hopefully, like Lance clarifies what he means because he's all over the place in that during those 5 minutes in terms of the abortion segment. But like, thanks to everyone for watching, and bye, and see you later. Bye.